Hello, this is a Texas sales tax landscaping guide. Stephen Lazar, I'm a CPA that focuses solely on Texas tax issues. Uh, so, in general, yes, landscaping is taxable in Texas, but your definition of landscaping may not be the same as the state's. So, taking a moment to switch to this screen. So we have a number of landscapes here. So we have, what is this? Like edging bushes, trails, fire pit, maybe a gazebo. No, that's just an umbrella, some chairs and such. This stone slash cement edging. Now, some of these items are taxable. Some of them aren't. Uh, you may see this and say, "Oh, this is all landscaping, landscaping, landscaping." Some of it's taxable, some of it's not. That's the big thing. If you need to know more about the definition, continue uh, watching because we'll go through the statute, the administrative code, and then some associated STAR documents for more special topics type stuff. So, there's a number of services that are taxable in Texas. That is listed in 151.01.01. We'll go to here. Now, very plainly, 151.01.01 is taxable services. Taxable services means this list of services. Anything on this is taxable. What we're looking at is real property service. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, I don't know if real property service is landscaping. Let's look up the only use of landscaping in the statute. 151.0048, real property service, except as provided by subsection B, real property service means one, landscaping. So yes, it's explicitly taxable. We've got this B exception. Real property service does not include the service listed under A, so any of these, including landscaping. If this is purchased by a contractor interesting, as part of the improvement of real property of a new structure to be used as a residence or other improvement immediately adjacent to the new structure. Okay, that's a lot of words. Oh, what does that mean? So, if you are a home builder, home builders can, when they're the landscaping for like the finished product of the house, the new home, I should say, that landscaping is generally considered an exception to sales tax. Sometimes it's called an exemption, but technically it's an exception. Uh, that's the short of it. So if it's used in this space, uh, non-taxable, but generally it's taxable. Now, this, as noted, hey, there's only one notation of landscaping in the code, so there's no broader definition in it. We look to the, I think I misspoke. This is the statute. We're about to go to the administrative code. But in short, the administrative code has more detailed information that is much easier to understand. Though, again, it is written in the executive branch's interest rather than specifically going through and saying what the legislature wanted. Like that's the big distinction, big thing in our government. Anyway, so we've got a landscaping definition. Geez, this is a big one. Let's see. So we're doing modifying natural scenery for aesthetic effect. Plantings including vegetation, and other features for full aesthetic to fulfill aesthetic requirements. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't read anything like that in the statute. Uh, I think if you're well within this, you have no issues. If you're outside of this definition, mm, I don't think the administration would hold that position very long. But that's just a guess. It includes the application of soil additives, uh, planting or maintenance, arbor services, ornamental, and note that they're keeping on this thread of aesthetic and ornamental, uh, bush or scrub or other construction activities provided by landscape designers or landscape architects, blah, blah, blah. Landscaping services performed by designers or architects are still taxable. It didn't say still, but just noting that they don't get some certain exemption here or exception. Then we've got lawn and yard maintenance, mowing, trimming, fertilizing, anything that you would do to a yard, basically. Includes maintenance of trees and plants inside or outside the building. So, someone watering plants for an office building, that would generally be considered a taxable service in Texas. Um, and then they also note the government entity here. In general, work done for government entities isn't taxable, but that isn't 100% across the board. So I guess that's why they put it there. I don't think there's anything else too important here. Let me double check my notes. Oh, yes. So jumping to it, the other important thing here is right in front of us. Responsibilities of persons providing real property service on both residential and non-residential property. With the exception of the terms defined in subsection A6 and 10, we'll do at this temporary service or property management companies. So if you're neither of those, I lost my spot here. Persons providing services defined in subsection A, landscaping was one of them, of this section are performing real property services. Persons performing real property services must obtain a tax permit and collect and remit sales or use taxes on all charges for real property services. Very specific in that. Now, the one actually, this is a fun little logical thing that probably matters more to lawyers than laymen, but I just want to note it. So, responsibilities of persons providing real property services on both residential and non-residential real property services. This "and" can mean a number of different things. So we don't know if it's okay. If you're doing both, you need to be doing this. If you're doing one of these, you need to be doing this. It's very fun. Okay. Anyway, with that, and I've got E noted here. Oh, here. There is this exception where we've got lawn maintenance done by someone under 18 or over 65. If their total receipts are less than $1,000 a quarter, something like that. Quite frankly, I've never seen this come up in an audit. It exists. Additionally, there's this an individual 65 years or older, 5,000 in the last four, so that's like 1,250 rather than 1,000. They're letting these individuals do a bit more, I guess. Neither of these would come up in audits, and quite frankly, I don't think because generally, if an 18-year-old is doing this, they're doing it for like neighbors. Maybe there's like small neighboring businesses. I guess that's possible. 65, same thing. Like, uh, they aren't actually in the business of it, but they're also nowhere going to come up in an audit. Like, the state audit is businesses; they don't audit like individuals, except for a very select few. Okay, so that's the very interesting little caveat that they have there. Just to note, it's there. And then briefly, oh, man, I have all these little notes that I should be following. And this is pretty common, basically. Local taxes, with exception of garbage and other solid waste removal services, local taxes, local tax, sales and use tax apply the same way as they do for tangible personal property. So if you are selling landscaping services in Austin, Texas, to someone in Dallas, Texas, Austin taxes are due. It's very simple in that way. Uh, so that is everything associated with the administrative code. Again, I didn't go word for word through the definition of landscaping here, but they do a pretty substantial job of saying exactly what it is. And further, I guess I missed this, does include things that it isn't. Uh, Installation of sprinkler systems, retaining walls, ponds, pools, or fences, or other construction activities. So, if it's considered, did they have fences? Yes, they did have fences. If it's more a permanent a fixing of something or modifying the real property, that is construction. So, retaining walls, they said paths is one of the ones that I have seen come up a couple of times. Whether or not someone making a stone path on the ground is considered real property services. Generally, I've found that yes, the paths have been found to be acceptable when contested. Let's see. Yeah, nothing else particularly new here. Last thing I want to show is the subject matter search for landscaping here. So STARS, as you can read at the top there, it's the state automated research system. If the state of Texas has published a tax document, it is stored here in some iteration at least. So we got landscaping. Okay, so these are subject headings. So what this means is someone at the comptroller, I believe, tax policy office, saw an issue and said, you know what, we need to aggregate this. This is an issue that can come up again in the future, so we're going to make a specific notation associated with it. So this is notation number: cleaning services / janitorial service, maid services, lawn care, landscaping services exemptions for self-employed person does not apply. So some things, 2 letters, that's that L in the middle there, from the year of 1996 and 1995 associated with this. But for our purposes, what we're just going to see is, one, this is a lot of clarifications. Each one of these has multiple documents associated with it. So it's a situation in which uh, there needed to be something even more granular than what was provided in the statute, which was already fairly granular. So, just taking a moment to look a bit over this. They're used in leveling, grading information, things about golf courses, homeowners, growing its own sod. That's interesting. Uh, Landscaping services, homeowner acting as general contractor. I think there's been an update in that fairly recently too. Landscaping services, landscaping versus hardscaping, especially if you do the if you do this sort of work where we're putting up retaining walls, and that makes up a significant portion, getting to this specific area and likely one of these specific documents, probably this one, layman looking at this, the N is like a notice. And so this is saying, hey, here are some things that landscapers can do. So anyway, okay, so going back up here, the short of this is it gets exceedingly complicated beyond the scope of what I could possibly do in like one of these short videos. If you think you have an issue associated with one of the things that is on this list, that's probably a good time to get an expert involved in your situation to be like, okay, hey, I don't know if this is taxable, or hey, I haven't started collecting tax, but I need to. There's a few things that you can do. Basically, uh, continue doing what you're doing, which I can't really recommend it if you're like, hey, I've got a taxable service and now I know that it's taxable. Um, I can also note that landscaping is a fairly highly represented in audits as far as industries go, and they're also ones that generally have uh, a deficiency balance in the sense that landscaping companies, when they get audited, they tend to owe money versus other industries, either they don't owe money or they're given back money, as is somewhat more common in certain areas of oil and gas. Um, so that's one of the things. You could either do nothing. Next, if it's more substantial, but like not really that much, could start reporting. Could even go back to, hey, this is when our first sales date was associated with this. Uh, that one's a little bit more of a business decision. Uh, so you've got that. Just start paying taxes, basically. The last one is, hey, and going back to the prior, a bit of a business decision. We owe these taxes. We need to get this to the state of Texas. What you can do is, if it's a nominal amount, just filing and paying some minor penalty and asking for that penalty to be relieved. Or you can go through a voluntary disclosure process. And generally, in that process, this state will say, all right, as long as we haven't contacted you about this in the past, we'll go through this and we will waive penalty associated with this. I forget if they waive interest off the top of my head. I'd have to go review a document, but they generally do waive penalty associated with these things. So with that, you're able to save what could be thousands of dollars in additional fees associated with the payment of tax that you could relieve yourself by just saying, hey, comptroller's office, I would like to voluntarily disclose these taxes to you. Okay, so that is everything. If you have other more substantial questions on that, please feel free to reach out to me. My intent is to update these sorts of courses as I get more information.